Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time to take a look at the brand new season of World of Tanks. Of course, we will be checking out the Creature as well, this new tier 7 tank destroyer for the German line with this massive gun that it's got on it. We're going to be having a look at what the season pass is like, and we'll do that first. Then we'll get into the gameplay with the Creature and the overview of the tank. We'll be doing some live gameplay, talking about the season pass, whether or not it's actually worth getting the higher tier one that features the Creature, and that will be at the end of this video, because of course we've got to try out the actual tank itself first. Now, regardless of that, let's have a look at the base season pass tank that you can actually unlock. Well, of course, you get the premium tanks that come with the season pass. We're going to go ahead and we are going to purchase the season pass itself, unlocking the ability to be able to get those season pass tanks and stuff like that much quicker. So first things first, what do you get with a season pass? It is of course lots and lots of gold, which is kind of my key motivator to actually complete the season itself. Obviously you get loads of other additional benefits, and as you can see as we're going through, you can unlock a hell of a lot of customization items. You get a lot of premium consumables, premium account time, and then at rank 50 you can actually get the Rover 237. Very unfortunate, because I've just purchased this vehicle for a review, which I guess isn't so bad, because I can do a review for you guys to let you know whether or not it's actually worth getting this tank. Anyway, at level 50, is it a good tank? The Rover is a fantastic tank. It is like a Chaffee on steroids. Yes, this thing is just ridiculous within the game. Then at tier 54, the free tank being the T2 light tank. Let's not even talk anything about this tank. It is a tier like 3, I think. It's pretty awful. You know, it's just a low tier tank. I'm not going to review it. Then we move on to tier 55, which gives you the confidential keycard. Pretty much just a guaranteed drop of gold with the potential of getting premium tanks out of it. Of course, the most notable being tier 70, then following on from that, getting a classified keycard guaranteeing you probably 200 gold minimum, and then probably the potential to get another premium tank within that. And then at tier 75, the kind of key area of the game, you can get the T26E5, the unskinned version of the Patriot, and of course the Ram 2. Both of them are really nice tanks. The Ram 2 is actually underpowered, I'd say, within the game. It's definitely not very competitive, but the DPM on this thing is actually surprising, in that actually I didn't actually mind playing this tank as much as I thought I would when I first got it a long time ago on 360, I think even. So it was a long time ago since I've played that tank properly. Anyway, moving on, tier 90 is then the kind of area of the game where it starts to come towards the end of the season. You of course then get the confidential and the top secret keycard, all guaranteeing you more gold. And yes, you will be able to earn more gold than you will actually have to spend on the season pass. So if you're thinking about spending that 2,000 gold and you've got the time to be able to play World of Tanks, then this is probably the best investment you can make. You get your gold back, you get premium tanks for free essentially if you do complete it to level 100. And then of course you get the benefits of having the season pass, giving you the extra 25% XP when you get to like rank 120. So it kind of gets to rank 100, then you get the virtual reward, which is that extra XP within the season. And then of course along with that, you actually get premium tanks that you get with the season pass, being the NM116 and the Object 752. Both of them going to be very interesting tanks to play, one of them being a Cold War vehicle and one of them being a World War II vehicle that is going to be strange to get your hands on. But yeah, of course we will be trying to do some reviews of all of the tanks. I think I may have them in the garage already, not entirely sure, but I am pretty certain that I probably have them in the garage. Yes, I do. The Object 752 right here, 390 alpha damage, 248 penetration. Looks a very interesting tank to be able to get my hands on, and hopefully we'll do a review of that very soon. But without further ado, let's actually get into the review of the Creature, the one that everybody wants to know about, the one that you're probably thinking about purchasing the Ultimate Season Pass this season, and let's look at the statistics of the vehicle in-game. So, what are the statistics of this just disgusting monster Creature, whatever you want to call it? It has 0.48 accuracy, and that's with all of my commander boosts that boost up the accuracy, along with the all of the perks that I've put on and equipment and stuff like that. So it's not particularly the most accurate tank. Of course, it's similar to that of the tank destroyers that you can get that have the Sturm Tiger line. So yeah, these high caliber guns with very low penetration and obviously the high damage are of course going to be interesting for you to get your hands on. Obviously, do I think it's worth 6,000 gold to get the season pass, which you'll make gold back on, along with all of the additional rewards of paying for the ultimate season pass? I think it's not a bad shout, that's for sure. I think that this tank is going to be interesting, but let's forget about the statistics for a little bit. We're going to get into some games. Obviously, I've whacked on advanced loader, camo net, and we've whacked on ventilation as well. If you really want to run this tank as not so much of a campy one, then I guess you can put on coated optics to get a little bit better vision range, but it's kind of one in the same. When you have concealment, it's pretty much like having coated optics, except you can just hide for longer, and with a tank like this where you are predominantly trying to stay hidden and just try and avoid shots to be able to get those shots in throughout the game, because of course you don't have good accuracy, it's kind of it's a trade-off. And yes, you could go with something like the speed boost mechanic to be able to ram people, which would be possible in a tank like this, and so I think that that's kind of where the tank could potentially be fun to play. It goes 55 kilometers an hour top speed. Whether or not it actually reaches that speed, I guess we'll have to test in this game, because obviously statistics can lie in World of Tanks. You have things like the IS-7 having like a top speed of 65 kilometers an hour or whatever it is with the speed boost, but you'll never be able to get up to that unless you're going down a hill, at which point yes, you will be able to, but it's not actually reflective of how fast the tank actually goes. Obviously right now we're hitting about 35 kilometers an hour, getting up to 40. Looks like that's probably the area of speed that you're going to be able to get up to. It's very slow at accelerating. That's where probably adding in the additional equipment that can boost up that speed will probably come in very, very handy with this tank. Obviously, traverse speed, look at this, it is absolutely diabolical on the creature. And before you kind of ask, is the armor going to work? Well, we've not really tested it. Obviously it's got a lot of spaced armor on the side, and these panels do actually counter spaced armor. So yeah, it's essentially a panther hull with a very weird kind of spaced bit all on either side. We are getting hit for this guy behind us, unfortunately, which is actually really annoying, but what we will do is put a round blind firing right about there, but we didn't manage to actually hit, which is unfortunate. This creature is genuinely getting us hit, and we've lost a load of health actually from that. Now, can we actually put a round into this blind firing tank? No, because this creature is literally being an absolute menace. So now we see one round come in. I'm going to put one in there somewhere. Hopefully you can actually get shots off, unlike me, because yes, without you asking, this thing does get the silly arc that the previous tanks in the tech tree actually get, so yeah, it's not particularly the best or most fun tank to play if you're trying to snipe shots into people, because it just isn't a sniper, is it? Let's not beat around the bush there. Anyway, what can we do from this point, and what does the tank kind of offer that you can't get elsewhere? I think that probably in the region of this gun. Obviously it has the 660 alpha, which is really, really nice, don't get me wrong, but when you can actually land your shots it's nice, not the 90% of the time when you can't. So that's kind of what you have to think about when you're purchasing a tank like this. Obviously we've got to give it a proper test run. We haven't actually dealt very much damage. We've blocked 675 alpha damage worth of damage, which is pretty nice, don't get me wrong. You know, that's certainly nothing to sniff at, but it's not the actual damage you're going to be wanting to block, I guess, and certainly doing 0 damage so far, it's not the damage that I'd be wanting. Now, knowing that we can go this fast, and knowing that we have the alpha damage that this thing actually gets, it's kind of nice to see that we can put rounds into the opponents that you can see right here. Obviously it's a little bit tedious being able to try and get damage on a tank that's advancing up towards you. A little bit hard to do, And of course we have the E75. For some reason my commander isn't actually in this, which is really annoying. We do manage to pen that guy and we high rolled, which is really nice. A bit lucky, let's not beat around the bush there. We did get super lucky. And now this E25, he's a bit scared because of course we do have the alpha damage to be able to take him out in one singular shot. Whether or not that actually happens, it depends on the high roll mechanics of the game, but let's just hit and hope, because yeah, that's all we can do with tanks like this sometimes. We're going to wait for our teammate here to try and give us a little bit of support before we push up, if we are going to push up at all. Yeah, it's kind of what you need to do. You can't be just an all guns blazing tank with this one. It's not going to work. It won't be your favourable thing to do. Yes, can you have good games doing that sort of thing? Well, yeah, of course you can have good games, but it's not going to be that reliable. You don't have that kind of sheer amount of damage that you can just actually YOLO people with, but it's not awful to the point where you won't be able to consistently get damage when you actually see them coming over. We're going to put one. He's obviously firing heat rounds, which is a big mistake from him. We're going to pop the the next bit of our enhanced combat rations. Hopefully this tiger realizes that he can just go away. He doesn't. We're going to have to actually turn around to deal with this tiger. Hopefully the creature from behind us then doesn't come in, which he most probably will do, but now we need to hopefully get a penetrating shot on the tiger, which we don't because we hit his barrel, which is really annoying. We're going to angle hopefully. Obviously we're hoping that he bounces, which he does again, which is very nice. And now we've got the back of the tiger. We're going to aim this one and bye-bye. This is what this tank does. Yes, you can bounce shots. Yes, it is really fun to play. Obviously that is kind of getting a little bit lucky. I'm not going to base this whole review on that one game clip because of course we did get YOLO'd and we somehow made it out live. We haven't had the best game. I'm not going to say we have, but yeah, I think we've shown what the tank can kind of do within the game. Obviously the game's not dead yet. We can still get a little bit more damage hopefully on some of the people, but we don't have Sixth Sense, which is really annoying to know whether or not the opponents are looking towards us, whether they're going to be in a position that are going to be able to spot us. It's hard to kind of make that out when you don't have Sixth Sense, and I know a lot of you guys actually say that you don't need Sixth Sense, but in my opinion it is one of the most crucial, most influential perks that you can have in World of Tanks, and I think people always underestimate the value of Sixth Sense, especially those that just are vehemently opposed to the idea of having it within the game. Anyway, moving on. E25 thinks he's funny. I don't. And it's time to go in all guns blazing, using the speed of the tank and the ramming capabilities to finally take him out before he takes us out with that final round. Anyway, a decent kind of a game to start off with. You know, we didn't play expertly. This is the first game in the tank, as obviously you've seen, and we've showed off, I guess, a little bit of what the tank can do. Yes, I could have had a much better game, especially if I had commander perks and stuff like that, but of course we don't, and so we can't complain too much. We got a really nice bonus XP from that game. Of course you can take advantage of actually having that commander XP boost, so you're going to be able to boost your commander to a superb degree with these Monster Hunter tanks. So if you do purchase it, you will be able to get that double commander XP throughout the entire season. And of course, if you have Monster Hunter tanks, which involve all of the monster tanks, so things like the Lycan, all of those will be able to get that bonus XP. And of course this makes extra silver too, so not only will you be getting all of the benefits, but you'll also be getting all of the rewards and stuff like that that you can get from tanks like this. Obviously we do still have a lot of challenges to be able to complete with this season. We go through all of them, you know, doesn't take too long, and certainly if you want to get to tier 100, all you have to do really is play from about week 4 onwards for the rest of the season, and you'll get them all done simultaneously. They stack, so you don't have to complete week 1 before you get week 2, etc. They kind of, you know, if you want to maximize the amount of time you're spending on the game, then yeah, just wait till you've got a few weeks worth of stuff and then just grind out a lot of games through that period. That's what I tend to do if I'm really trying to grind through And of course, if you are interested in getting your hand on some of the free premium tanks within the game, if you haven't watched yesterday's video going over the actual update information on screen, then yeah, you'll be able to basically complete this challenge. You'll get the option to choose premium tanks from the Monster Hunter list, and you essentially, to get all of the options, you'll have to get 275,000 XP. If you don't get that, then you'll get a choice of different ones, and it gets limited at the less XP that you get throughout the 2-week window that this is open. Obviously, October challenge still going on. It's still October. You can get your hands on the T54E2 premium tank, I think it is, that is part of this, which is a fantastic one and definitely one you want to be grinding towards. Long haul as usual, you've got the Monster Hunter crew boost, which you can get repeatable, and it's just constantly repeatable, giving you that ×2 XP with your tanks, which is always nice, I guess, if you're trying to grind through and get your like Commander XP boosted up. Obviously, we'll do a proper review of all of this season's tanks throughout this next week, and hopefully we can get some fantastic gameplays. Obviously, let me know if you have actually purchased the creature. Do you think it's actually good within the game? Obviously, the matchmaker is probably disgusting right now, full of creatures within the game. Obviously, you saw last game having full of the creatures already, and that is just on the first day of release. So hopefully you guys aren't too annoyed with the amount of creatures you're seeing within the game, but yeah, certainly think that this tank is definitely a fun one. I think from that game, it has armor, it's got that big derpy gun, but you certainly need to make sure that you make your shots count, because if you're doing things like I was doing on that Tiger, where you're hitting the gun mantlet, you're only doing 70 damage per shot and you've got a 12-second reload. Yeah, that's a little bit painful. But there we go, the creature. What do you think? And hopefully you did enjoy the video and the gameplay and the rundown of all of this new season information. I will be doing some more update information as and when we get information regarding to the HUD, the old HUD, and all of the update 6.0 previous stuff that's coming back to the game fairly soon. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you do enjoy this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.